And today I will share with you what I have found in the Chinese prophecy Tu. There are two kinds of Tu. One from the Tang Dynasty, which is the one I will talk about today, and from the Qing Dynasty, which I believe was changed to hide the secret. All poems prior to number 39 were as clear as water, but I have not found one convincing theory on the ones after. Well, that is what we will talk about today. Number 39 is about World War II. Line 1 shows the island country, the country of Japan, and the devastation it brought was outlined all in a short poem. And the picture showed the dummy government, ran by a bird with Japan hiding behind, showed the Wan Jinwei government, as Jinwei is the name of the bird. And the long poem correctly stated a bird in the south, which is the Wan government, and north with Lo, which is Aishin, Zhoulo government. It stated the year Japan surrendered, 1945, which is also the year of the rooster. But the clarity of the quatrains ended at number 39. As there are so many different interpretations, you really will be lost if you try to find one. But I think I found it all the way to number 46. Let me show you what I have found. Number 40. The picture shows China in three parts. The one in the center is mainland China, ruled by the People's Republic of China. The one on the right, I assume, is Taiwan, ruled by the Republic of China. And the one on the left is Hong Kong, which was ruled by the British government until the lease was up. And the long poem, people say the first line is about KMT, which originated in Japan. So they are from the east. And the second line is when they ran to Taiwan with no hat and shoes. But I disagree. I think it is just to give the name of Mao Zedong, and then the third and fourth life can be interpreted in many ways. Some say it is Li Zongqing, who gave China to the communist when he succeeded Chiang as president. Some said it is Li Dan, who destroyed KMT. Honestly, I don't know. I think this may mean the future when the three kids stop playing the games. As we all know, Hong Kong is already part of China, so this may well mean the future unification time. The first part of the quatrain is about General Chiang Kai-shek. He led China to the eventual victory during World War II, but lost the mainland to Communist China. But despite Taiwan's lost control of the land, we still have the leader C.K. Chiang, and President Chiang was president 4 times. First between 10/10/1928 till 12/15/1931, then August 1, 43 till May 20, 48. Then as the first president after starting the new constitution from May 20, 48 to January 21, 49. Then again from 3/1/1950 till April 5, 75 when he died. He may have been a controversial figure in his first 3 terms as president of China, but he led Taiwan to prosperity since 1950, which is quoted in line 2, a small government with great accomplishments. Number 41 is about Hong Kong. The first line talks about the colony, and the second line seems to write the word Hong. But the part that really gives the clue away is the 99 years. For China had signed a 99-year lease with the British. And what do we call Hong Kong? The Pearl of Asia, right? And the picture shows a soldier stepping on a ball. But is that a ball? Or the Pearl of Asia? I don't know if the soldier is Chinese or British. But there's no doubt in my mind that this is about Hong Kong. And some people have tried to interpret the poem literally. But Tu contains so many clues in words. For example, the word wearing has a land on top, the word communist at the bottom, and the word fighting on the right. The UK did not want to give Hong Kong back. The Hong Kong people did not want to be part of China. They wanted to be part of the UK. But China was willing to have an all-out war with the UK to end UK's manipulation. Number 42 is about Taiwan. When ROC moved to Taiwan, the government was at the brink of collapsing. But the situation improved after 1952 when President Eisenhower took office. President Truman signed the Treaty of San Francisco in 1951, the year of the rabbit. It excluded both China from participation, and this means the legitimacy of both governments remained unresolved. But the chaos came down when President Eisenhower signed the Sino American Mutual Defenses Treaty in 1955. The bow is a symbol of Taiwan. Because the bow is the bottom part of the word wan, and American in Chinese is the word pretty woman. So that is the lady, but the lady carries a musical instrument, the Chinese form of guitar. So the U.S. played with China like a guitar. USA decided to end the Sino America Treaty in 1979 and established diplomatic relationships with China. But Taiwan remains an important bloc on the power fight with China. So the 7th Fleet would come through Taiwan Strait every once in a while to see how that pretty lady still stands between the two Chinas. This is the literal translation of the long poem. The pretty lady from the West is an expert guitar player, dressed in flashy clothes, hide in the city to avoid spotlights, but she makes sure the chaos goes non-stop. And the poem is right, the chaos goes on till this day. Number 43, I believe, is again about the two Chinas. Now that Hong Kong is no longer the lost colony, the short poem reads, "The king is not a king and a subordinate is not a subordinate. It started very dangerous, but now it finally calms down." And the long poem stated, "Black rabbit enter the home of dragon home. Is it an end, or have more to go? I won't tell. There's a tree growing outside, full of fruits like a big family tree." The last year of the dragon, 2012, the presidential elections were held in both Chinas. Ma Jin-chun on his second turn and Xi Jinping on his first. And around the same time, the long-strained relationship between China and Taiwan changed also. On his first term as president, Ma allowed direct flights in 2009. And the relationship between the two Chinas is quite interesting. Although we can see how one is so much bigger than the other one, they are not exactly friends nor enemies. They both call themselves the legitimate China. But they walk side by side, and the relationship seems to have finally settled down. Number 44 showed another shocking, accurate prediction. The short poem reads, "The sun and moon made the sky glorious, scared the shadowy evil away, hundreds birds coming, 2 wings with 4 legs." And the long poem reads, "China has a great leader. If we can't call him the hero, he is at least a wonderful leader. Foreign countries followed him. The sleeping lion awakened to bring prosperity to region." The picture shows a meeting with 2 people. The one standing is carrying a bow on the back. As we've said before, the bow symbolizes Taiwan. In 2015, President Xi and President Ma met in Singapore. President Xi's name appeared in line 4 of the short poem, which also indicated President Ma's last name. Ma is horse in China, and the Chinese character showed a horse's 4 legs, and President Ma's first name. Number 9 showed in line 4 of the long poem. The relationship between the two Chinas was expected to improve, but Ma's KMT loss in 2016 election and the new president China's policy is 180-degree reversal of the prior president. Then in number 45 seems to show a conflict involving the two Chinas and Japan. This poem has not happened, but may happen soon. Let me first show you what the poem is. Short poem. A guest came from the west, stopped by the east. Wood, fire, gold, water washed out the big shame. Long poem. Prosper through fire. The world opened with unity. The sun sank back to the ocean. Will not try to compete. It's the end of its fighting spirit. The people showed 2 men pointing weapons towards the sun. Is that 2 countries fighting Japan? Possibly, because Korea's national flag has I Ching, which uses 5 elements as its base. And the short poem showed 4 elements. And both Korea and China suffered great loss and humiliation by Japan's brutal invasion during World War II. But unless Japan started the fight, it is hard to imagine that happening. However, the fact that soil is the only element missing in the short poem made me to believe this conflict is about a land dispute. And I think I found the reason for the dispute. Diao, the Senkaku Island according to the Japanese. Why do I say that? Because Diao not only is the disputed land among China, Taiwan, and Japan, it also has the fire in the word fish and gold in the word diao. And the guest from the west, well, that must be the American. U.S.-Japan Defense Treaty was signed in 1951. It outlined the USA's responsibility to protect Japan because Japan is restricted to maintain military force other than protecting its islands. However, the treaty was technically broken when Japan sent forces to help in the Iraqi war. But if Japan is involved with the war, the United States for sure will send the 7th Fleet over. But it seems the 7th Fleet came from the west but stopped by the east and did not get involved. Well, fighting with China will mean World War III and possibly the end of mankind. Will the U.S. really go for a no-winner war? Most likely not, right? And what will happen if the U.S. does not get involved? Japan will lose. This will be even more likely if Japan was the one who fired the first shot. If Japan started the conflict, the USA has even less reason to defend Japan. Number 46 is about the future, and it was very hard to decode until November 24th, 2018. After being crushed in the 2016 election, KMT was powerful only in the history book. It lost power seats and all of its assets. They can't even find qualified candidates to run. The situation was even worse in Kaohsiung. It is the 3rd largest city in Taiwan, but KMT has lost every election during the last 20 years. But something happened no one expected. I mean, no one except Tuibeitu's author 1,300 years ago. The poem reads like this. Short poem. The air is heavy and dark. Death is not by knife. Tens of thousands were spared, but 1 man had to die. The long poem reads, a soldier carrying a bow, calling himself the white-headed old man, a hidden gold sword in the east door. A brave man ran to the palace from back door. How is it related to Taiwan's 2018 election? Many people thought the white-headed old man is President Trump. But there are billions of people with blonde hair. And more if you count the ones that dye their hair. And he never called himself old. not even once. But I'm sure this quatrain is about Han Kuo-Yu. He not only graduated from the military school and was a soldier. After retiring from the army as a captain, he earned a bachelor degree, then a master, and had a not too distinguished political career. He was elected a congressman twice, but had been out of the political scene for 18 years. 14 years ago, he was involved in a fatal car accident and was sentenced to 6 months in jail with 2 years probation. Picking someone with no connections to the city to run for mayor showed how poorly prepared KMT was. But although his father was from China, which made him an outsider in Taiwanese people's eyes, he won, and his popularity helped other KMT candidates to win. The ruling party lost 7 mayoral elections and held down only 6, while Han's KMT gained 9 local mayor seats and jumped from 6 to 15. For someone with no money, no local connections, and even with a conviction, he flipped the whole island around. Whether he can continue his success or not, he was a brave man, ran to palace from the back door. And I also want to bring up another interesting fact. The Yu of Han Kuo-Yu's name has a Chinese character sword, as shown the 3rd line of the long poem, while Yu also contains the character moon, while his last name includes the sun. Let's go back to quatrain 44, which started with the sun and moon glorified the sky. But what does the poem mean? If he succeeds in turning Kaohsiung around, he will for sure be the next president. But can he? Let me ask you, if he can someone get rid of him? This poem may mean an assassination attempt. Towards who or by who, I don't know. But it seems that they will have their way. People may call that a stretch, because he is not the only person with a military background. President Xi served in the military too, but the Bo quote showed his Taiwanese roots. And although he is only 61 years old when he won the 2018 election, he has been calling himself old and ugly, and never stops making fun of his baldness. I am sure you can find another bald politician, but it will be hard to find one making fun of his baldness. So I believe I have decoded quatrains 40 through 46. And by proving the correct sequence of the quatrains, I think we can try to figure out easier what the future holds. This is Ken Peters. Thank you for watching.